Hey, we are discussing ideas. Great men discuss ideas. Let's be great men. Where the
Please
the rambling
discuss ideas.
flows. Hey, Josh, how you doing today, buddy? We we this whole thing is we've come back to the ramble source to talk about things that we want to talk to, or things that we'd say to our younger selves as we enter the over the hill stage, right? I'm 45. You're about this. You're a little older than me, I think, but
I'm 40.
uh,
Wait, yeah, I'm 45.
okay, we're the same age, all right?
Yeah, I'll be 46 in February.
Okay, so you're a couple months older than I am. I'll be 46 in July. But the thing is that the last time we talked about, let me collect my thoughts here. Talked about, oh, that's right, arousal, and in other words, like being aware and in touch with our engagement with the world and other people. And we talked about using I statements and the way we control the way we engage with people with our speech. And what was the last thing? I can't remember the other thing.
Fun pop quiz. Just attending to the present moment and our breathing, the things that
breathing
are the real bedrock
yeah,
of arousal, like our alertness,
yeah,
like how is our body working in the moment. It's such a
right,
fundamental, like basic thing. It's easy for people to overlook it and think they've mastered it, but
yeah.
as a counselor, I watch people trip over themselves every day from an arousal perspective.
What do you mean by that? What trip over themselves? What does that look like?
Well, language is so tricky. Like we think we can, like I had a couple in here this morning, and this is not an uncommon thing for people to experience, where we believe that something should be easy because here it's easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I pose questions to people like, well, what are you feeling right now? And depending upon their arousal state, they're not able to answer that question because they're not able to feel, like the technical term is interoception, right? To feel from the inside. So, and
that's good.
We're moving, like if we're aroused, we're moving fast. We're making cognitive mistakes. You're guaranteed to make cognitive mistakes, and you're guaranteed to make behavioral mistakes. You're going to be doing
if
safety focused.
If you're making cognitive mistakes, you're going to make behavioral mistakes. I mean, that's
right.
a given,
Well,
right?
yeah, just make more of them. So,
yeah.
And that's a big teaching point for me. It's like, hey, slow this thing down, pay attention to one another, privilege nonverbals more than the story.
It's good.
But
privilege nonverbals more than the story.
The body rarely lies. Other people's bodies rarely lie. You may not know exactly what it's telling you, but it's very hard to deceive with your body. It moves too fast.
I've heard people talk a lot about that. One of the things, though, that I come back with is that we're subconsciously already reading that, our mind is already taking into account that nonverbal. I think what you're saying is focus on that. Like really don't just let your subconscious do it consciously.
Right. Do it with some awareness. And the problem is you don't know what it means.
I think our intuition can. Of course, it can also, it gets it wrong so much, but
a lot.
But I think, yeah. But it doesn't mean that if we focus on it that we're going to get it better,
No, but I do. So this is how I would protocol this. So you start off with being aware. You pay attention to nonverbals, and then you get really curious, and then you test it. I do it all the time. I mean, like I did this morning, where it's like, and I'll, like working with couples, I will turn to one couple and go, "Did you notice what she just did?"
Yeah, that's good.
And it's small tells. Yeah. Right? Biting lips, playing with our clothing, like facial, like really super fast affect changes. right? Oh no, I didn't notice that. Yeah, because you were too busy talking and not
Yeah.
watching. You were telling the
Yeah.
story and you zoned out and you weren't paying attention to how it was landing. And it's giving you really important information about feedback, right? And you missed it. And then it's like, well, what do you think that is? This is always a fun game to play. Well, I think, and it's like, well, is that true? And you turn to the partner and you ask, and she's like, not quite. No, no.
Mm.
And it's like, well, really? Well, what was going on? You know, tell me more. But like the fun thing for me is I take this to the house.
Yeah.
This stuff is so basic. It's easy to overlook it, and just get curious. Like you did something and something changed, and I don't know what it is. And hey, friend, like, hey, buddy, hey, lover, how's that hitting you? I was talking, I noticed like something happened. Like, I just want to know you more. Tell me more.
Well, and that's I think that's the real benefit of counseling, is that you are able to put things in a petri dish, right? You're able to zoom in on things that you're not able to. I mean, we are able to do that. I am able to do that in regular life, trying to use I statements, but I don't, right? And
sure,
having
I don't either
an
sometimes.
office to go to, having a counselor to go to helps me zoom in, right? And I mean, like you're saying, maybe what you're saying is like, even as a counselor, if I wasn't intentionally in that particular relationship with with a client, doesn't, I mean, probably wouldn't zoom in.
Well, I mean, it's like anything. It takes practice. Like just recognizing, oh, this stuff is really useful, and then you got to practice it. But like if I go home and I feel urgent, like I'll use an arousal phrase. If I feel really urgent, my body, my physiology is moving faster.
Yeah.
I'm breathing faster. I'm holding my breath, or I'm shallow breathing. My heart is beating faster because I sense some kind of threat. This thing reminds me of something in my past that caused me pain, right? It's really easy to get like into problem solving mode and just mow over your partner or a kid and to make the pain stop, make the urgency quit, right? As opposed to like skillfully, carefully, wisely moving through a situation to achieve a more desirable outcome, where it's like, oh, at the end of this, I want us both to win and we're still friends.
Amen.
You know,
Well,
that's hard to do.
Yeah. Well, urgency gets to the idea, what I want to talk about, and I mean, we don't have to, but time. Time is, we've talked about it. You and I have debated time before. We won't get into that. We're zooming in instead into the more practical and less philosophical.
Oh, philosophy is always practical. If it's not, it's bad philosophy.
Okay. All right. but I don't want to get into the debate of whether time exists on this podcast. So what I want to talk about is how we spend time. And I've just been thinking a lot about it because I talked to my dad about it in Daddy Ocast, and then this morning I was thinking about something. My wife always says hurry hurts. I'm a hurrier, and I need to hear that. But there's a flip side to that, and that is that when we are selfishly, like, people are waiting, when we are wasting time, people are waiting. And if we're late, people wait. That's what I should say in response. If we're late, people wait.
Right.
Well, go ahead.
Waiting is awful.
Well, hurrying isn't that awful.
I don't know. I'm just curious. Like, what is that about? Like hurrying and waiting.
Well, to me, I mean, it does get into being intentional, and instead of just letting life sort of push us along, because if life just pushes me along, I'm going to be late all the time and make people wait, and I know it may not hurt them that bad, but it's selfish, right? I'm doing things on my terms, and which happen to be just sort of like haphazard, And it's a lack of diligence and discipline on my end. So when I'm hurrying, I'm trying to hurry does hurt people, but I can avoid it. That doesn't mean I make people late. Usually I'm hurrying because I didn't do the legwork to get there on time, right? To get there early, to mitigate for my
Possibly.
Disorganization.
Sure.
You're thinking about this.
Yeah, I'm moving quickly, like hurry, right? We're going to move quickly. We're going to move now. There's a sense of urgency. I don't know. I'm also hearing you talk about because there's a certain thing of well, you're hurrying through life, but then who's waiting for you? How do they come to wait? Is there some agreement that you all were meeting in a particular place and time, right? That gets interesting for me because it's it's hard to keep our agreements. Yeah, I'm with you. I break them too. So that's, it's are we promising things we can't hold up, right? Or should we renegotiate, right? Like everything's island time, like they do down in the Caribbean, where it's yeah, man, we meet at 3. 3 really means sometime between 3 and 4. And everybody knows that, right? It's not like, no, you said 3, right? Island time,
right?
If you're familiar with the concept.
Yeah. Well, I like that. When we had this discussion before, we talked about sort of the indigenous people, like what they did before clocks, and I was sort of castigating or hating on the object of the clock, the tyranny of the clock.
Sure.
And using that to sort of dispel the idea of time, but it is true that the real thing here is the contract you have, the social contract that we have between with us and the people where we're going to show up,
right?
And
one to resolve the tension is just become a better social contractor.
Yeah, but I mean, you say that, but do you say, let's just say if we're late to church, do you say to the pastor, hey, can you just hold up church for us? We're late people, so let's meet a little later from now on.
Well, I mean, that's one-sided, right? That's not a contract. That's an offer, right? You
okay.
Can leave it. I'm just thinking that. I mean, I'll look at. I can approach this from an ethical stance where it's okay, you want to be more ethical about it, but okay, yeah, sure. Living in integrity, part of that has to do with how you make and keep agreements, but keeping agreements has to do with how you make them. Write contracts you can keep. Don't write contracts you're going to break. That's a bad idea. Getting to church on
that's
time.
Good.
I feel you. There can be things that get in the way, but ultimately that's a one-sided deal. It's ultimately there wasn't an agreement. It was I'm telling you, we're starting at 10.
Well, this thing where I learned this, it was on a week. It was one of these Crucible Men weekend things where they talked. There was a thing that one of the things we learned was men are waiting. Men are waiting.
Okay.
And talking about the selfishness of making people wait. And I know, I mean, my response was too well,
I don't know.
It says my time. It says, well, and this is what we learned. It says my time is more important than yours. And I'm not taking care of your time. I'm only going to take care of my time every time I'm late, right? If there's a group of people and everybody got there on time except for me, that's on me. That, okay. You know what I mean?
Okay. I don't know. There's a part of me that's kind of okay.
Well, obviously. But what do you mean by that?
Well, so what?
Yeah.
Right. Everyone's time is equal. All right. What did you do with your time while you were waiting? I suppose that's up to you. I don't know why you're
start without me.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm not. My lateness is not a statement of value. I'm with you. Well, it could be perceived as an issue of care.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it is an issue of value too, because you're saying, well, I mean, if going back to the contract thing, if I said I was going to be there at 8
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not, then, or if the meeting started at 8,
Mm-hmm.
everybody, the understanding is that maybe I didn't make a particular contract and say, I
Okay.
will for sure be there,
Okay.
but,
I think it's a category error. I just don't think it has anything to do with
huh,
value.
okay.
I mean, right? Like I don't know. It's like, all right. So you waited. What did you do with it?
Okay, well then let's dig deeper because we
How
were
do you want
talking
to?
about before redeeming. All right, let's get back to that idea.
Yeah.
The in Scripture, Ephesians 5, where it says, "Redeem the time, for the days are evil." Redeeming. We both looked it up, and it was mostly, what was it like? It was mostly uh, how we pay back. Redeeming is paying back something or something like
You
that.
gotta
It
buy
was.
it, right? Like it's a purchase.
Hmm,
It's an exchange. Like right,
yeah.
like there's a quid pro quo. Like if let's use because this is one sometimes I struggle with too on Sunday mornings is getting to church on time.
Hmm,
You've got to give up something to get to church on time. Go to bed
yeah.
earlier, right? Wake up earlier. Um,
Yeah.
get your clothes out, all right, right? Like whatever you need to do to smooth, like remove the obstacles, right? You're going to
Hmm.
give something to get something. Um,
Hmm.
counting the cost of like, what's so important to me? And like, sure, like probably the reason that like I'm late to church is I move really slow in the mornings, and part of that is like a pleasure. Like the bed is warm, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, on Saturdays, I sometimes do like to stay up and watch a movie or read when I should probably go to bed. Right, like of all the,
Hmm.
it's a go to bed early, get some sleep,
It's a what?
prepare for the
Oh,
next
yeah.
day. Right.
Right. Diligence. I mean, that gets into diligence, right?
It's. I mean, I'm okay with thinking this as transactional. What are you going to give to
Yeah.
get what's important?
Hmm. Well, and so to get back to the idea that we thought about is, what would you tell your younger self? What would you tell
Yeah.
your younger self about redeeming the time? Because I think that I would go back and I would first just kind of do what we're doing, is just be very pointed about the fact that it is a cost. There is a transaction here, and uh, but then it gets a little fuzzy, right? Like, because what you said earlier, what's the payment? What is it kind of just, is pain the payment? So maybe, because that's what I was saying earlier, is like, when I'm late, I am just transferring the pain from me to somebody else, right? Like, I'm not taking on the suffering by curtailing my or working harder to get my stuff done on time, before, or give myself enough time to get there. Instead, I'm pushing my pleasure to the limit, and then it spills over, and the people waiting for me have to, they have to subsidize my pain.
Yeah, I'm still on the category. I'm not sure how they're subsidizing that, but I mean, yeah, they're waiting, but they're not. I don't know. I guess I want to keep it in house as far as getting really clear about what you're buying and getting really
Yeah.
clear about what you're paying. How are you paying for it? And just being upfront. Like, look, there's no way we're getting out of this paying for it thing.
Yeah. Well, that's an
Right?
important thing.
We're trying to. Oftentimes, we're trying to think of like some kind of get rich quick scheme around time. Like, right? Like,
Yeah.
plan. Like, there's a $1 billion industry around this.
Yeah.
When it's like, no, I mean, if what's really important to me is being with God's people and praying, like I'm gonna have to pay for it with what?
Hmm.
I'm gonna buy it with what?
Hmm.
And really count the cost. I don't know. I don't think I've ever really I'm enjoying us talking about this because I don't think I've thought about some of these things, but not. I'm trying to think of myself, 20 years ago, and like, what would I tell myself? Like, look, bro, look,
Mm-hmm.
you're not getting out of this. Like, this is the only way forward. Like, maybe you can multitask sometimes, but most of the time you're gonna have to figure out what's really important and like what are the top priorities, and you're gonna pay for it with secondary priorities. You're
Yeah.
gonna take your secondary priorities and stick them with a sharp knife and bleed them out,
Yeah.
and buy what's most important with that.
Well, it comes back to what you're saying, what you said earlier. There is no getting around the cost. There, you
No,
will have
right,
to
right.
pay.
Yeah, like there's no way around this one.
And because that, if I go back to my younger self, even my present day self, honestly, there is more so way more so my younger self was that the feeling that I could cheat it. I could shortcut my way around it. Um, I could mitigate for it through accentuating it, something
Sure.
else. I could be
Yeah,
kinder,
yeah.
and therefore I would not have to pay the price with, socially, something like that.
Yeah, I'm wanting to keep it all in house. Like I don't even really care about other people in this equation. I don't know what it is. There's just something about me. I'm just like,
Okay.
yeah, like whatever. I inconvenienced you.
Yeah.
Like I broke my word to you. Like that sucks. I'll do better. And you're
Huh.
an oath breaker too. So everyone just get off your high horse and deal. Um, but I'm trying to think through this. Like what's really important to me and how am I
Yeah.
going to buy it? The
I
days are
mean, that's where you got
right.
to
Like
start. That's where I have to start.
the days are, and I bet if I look at the Greek, it's almost like the days are bad. Um, they're filled with bad things. What are we buying? Uh,
Right.
what are you?
Uh,
What are you redeeming? Like, what are you getting out of this? What are you trading for here? Um,
well, I like the fact that you brought up counting the cost. I looked it up. It's Luke 14:28. For which of you intended to build a tower? Well, do you not first sit down, count the cost, whether he is enough to finish it or not? So
well,
in other words, like,
these
if you're going to
economic
do something,
metaphors, yeah. So this is something fun to think about. Think about all the economic metaphors in the Gospels.
hmm,
There's the counting the
hmm,
cost, and like the one that really just gets me and twists a knife in me, so to speak, to give me some pain. The parables of like the faithful servants and stewards. It's like, oh, who gets punished is the one that was like, I knew you were a hard man, so I took what you gave me and I hid it, so I wouldn't lose it, and I gave you back exactly what you gave me, right? Like the good and faithful servant is the one that risked it, that put it to
yeah,
work.
he could have lost it all.
That, right. It almost seems like you don't really the parable, because it's the nature of a parable, doesn't entirely play it, but you do. It's like,
He
so
didn't
I wonder.
gamble it. He didn't gamble it. He didn't just go out and, like, play Russian roulette. He didn't play roulette with his money, right? He put it to work. So that speaks to his abilities, right? You want somebody who can do stuff with you. If I wanted to just get my money back, I would have put it under my mattress.
And
I
that's,
could have hit
well,
it.
no, that's yeah. It's like I would have given it over to the money changers. I would have given it over
Yeah.
to the usurers. Um, but yeah, counting the cost. Like, recognizing that, like, as far as being a human being, like on a very fundamental existential perspective, like what does it mean to be a human in existence? Some of this stuff is truly transactional.
Yeah.
It's quid pro quo, right? Like it's this for that. I'm going to give this to get that. And they're
Hmm.
hard choices. They're real choices, right? And they matter. And there's a finite amount of time. And yeah, we think we're going to be smart enough and beat this game somehow, as opposed to like, no, apparently it's like,
Well,
and
I
money.
mean, it goes to what you're saying about keeping it in house. I used to have a teacher, a really good teacher. This was in our intention. What is it called? Anyways, interviewing, and And he said something that was super simple, but I keep thinking about it, and that's that he said, every time you say F this or F them or F, you're saying F yourself, because it's all about like intentionality. It really is. And what we lose, sure, somebody else might lose out, like you're saying, but that's not what matters. Is like ultimately you're going to be left with yourself, and you're responsible for yourself. I'm responsible for
I'm
myself.
responsible for myself, and it does impact other people, right? Like I will type, I
Yeah.
will throw it back out, right? Like obviously our choices are impacting others, and we need to think about that. That's absolute. I guess part for me for wanting to bring in house is like that's that piece, exactly that piece around intentionality and how powerful that is. That's kind of like the spring head of a bigger river, right? It's like where are we starting? And it's like, oh, we're starting at this very small point, and if we don't get it right here, it just goes farther afield the longer down the path we go. So when it comes to time, it's like, well, how do I become a person of integrity? I only promise things I can fulfill, which means I have to learn how to say no or be very clear with my speech.
Yeah.
If I have problems around, like I've got some time blindness stuff in my own experiencing. So like I have to factor that in, right? Like, if it's really important to me, I get there early.
Yeah. It's almost like tricking myself. I'll say I'll get there early. I end up getting there on time, but at least I'm not late.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's it's a real check to ourselves where it's like, am I being honest with myself about how important this is? If I'm showing up late, am I really being honest with myself about how important this is?
Yeah. Well, that's why when you brought up counting the cost, it stuck with me, because one of the elders at church, he sort of admonished me without directly admonishing me, well, let's just say I felt it, and he was just talking about,
you felt encouraged.
right? Because I said, yeah, I haven't really been to men's group. And he's like, I said, I have other things going on. I'm teaching Sunday school. And yeah, I was kind of making excuses, but true excuses. But anyways, he said, yeah, it's really good. As men, we have to count the cost.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I didn't really get it back then. And I went back and looked at where that was from. It's like, oh yeah, it is. If it's valuable to you, you will be there, right? Like, if you want to do it, you do it right.
Right? Just say like, you know what? I think the men's group is great. That's just not really important to me right now. It's not the most important thing to me right now.
Yeah, and it's hard for me. It's hard for me because I want to pretend like everything's important to me, right? Like, especially if it's important to somebody else as a people pleaser. I'm like, I want to pretend like it's important to me.
Isn't that the lie?
I want to even tell myself that. Yeah.
It can all be important, and I've got enough time to do it all. Yeah. And I can fulfill all of these things. No, you can't. No. The time is the day, right? The days are filled with bad things. They're finite. We are condemned to a body that dies. Yeah. Thankfully, it doesn't stay that way. Hint, hint. But again, like,
spoiler alert.
Dealing with
we don't die
of human existence, as far as like in the current state of things, shall we say, that yes, in a world that in a world as our brain tends to think about it naturally, of course there would be enough time to do all the things. But we did something that totally jacked this whole thing up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but just notice this, we all do it. I think this is fascinating sometimes, like when it's like, why do we do that? It's like, why do we believe that we can just do all the things and everything is important? Because we were designed in the very beginning to do all the things because we had all the time.
Yeah.
And then we went and monkeyed it up and are condemned to have a cessation in our current existence, thus bringing about limitations, real serious limitations.
Yeah.
And what are we going to do about it now? Right? Like, okay, all right, let's
do it. And I think that's what I would say to my younger self is count the cost and You can't do it all. Cost is real. You're
Yeah.
not going to, don't believe that you can, use superpowers or, cheat the system. You can't. There's no cheating the system.
There's no.
And, and be honest with people about what's important to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would be to me. So
Yeah.
I need to be, and so that's a message for me today. I love this because I can tell my younger self this. I'm right here.
Right. That's yeah. It's like there's nothing I would tell myself 20 years ago that I'm not gonna need tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good quote that.
Yeah.
Clip that.
No, I mean it's just like,
Yeah.
if I was gonna take the time to tell myself something, it's definitely gonna be something I need tomorrow. Like I'm gonna find myself in the same exact place because apparently, like, this is just life. This is being a human. This stuff keeps like love it. I love it when clients say this. I wish I had $1 for every time. It's just one thing after another, and I'm like, you're right. It is. That's exactly how it is. It's exactly that way. Thankfully, because when it's not one thing after another, it's just one thing and you're dead. So it's cool.
That's good.
Right?
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm just waiting
reminds
for
me of my
the
kids.
drop. I'm like, yeah, don't wait. It's gonna. Like, just I mean, why even like fret? Like, it's gonna, like, you're gonna get sick. You're gonna
just
die.
accept it. Yeah.
Yeah. Open your I mean, sure. I mean, like my 17-year-old last night. Sometimes she's a very sensitive soul. She was crying because she was like, "Oh, you're gonna die, Daddy." I was like, "Yes, I am, and it's gonna be okay."
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. Amen. Like, like you're feeling it. You're seeing it clearly. Like, I'm not gonna, oh, baby girl, it's gonna be all right. No, it's like, yeah, you're feeling it. It's sad. I'm gonna die. You're gonna have questions. I'm not gonna be there. So, by the way, honey, I didn't tell you this. You better ask them now. Yeah, and it'll be all right. Everyone's gonna adjust.
Amen. Well, I hate to leave on that note. We're all gonna die.
Yeah, we're all gonna die soon. Count the costs. Redeem the time.
Redeem the time.
Yeah.
And I appreciate talking to you. Loretta tuned in. Thank you, Loretta. She said risk versus benefits. And you're right. We got to look at the risk versus benefits of, risk, but cost. Yeah. What are we paying when, what are we paying to be on time? What are we paying to do things? And I want to maybe have a part 2 next week when we talk. I want to bring this to the idea of spending time with our kids. I don't know, something like that.
Okay,
but we'll mull over that.
Yeah.
But this is only supposed to be a lunchtime discussion as we have busy lives and blah blah blah. But
Friday.
But Josh and I love to talk about these things, and we like for you to join in. Thank you for joining Loretta and whoever else has been able to tune in. We will be back probably next week. Fridays, we like to do a little lunchtime discussion. Over now. Oh, we'll be back next week if the you have to say it. I always forget.
Oh, what? Yeah, we'll see. We'll be back next week, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
There we go. Yeah. And the creek may be just like our jobs.
Right. Yes.
All right. Well, Loretta gave us a little heart. Thank you, Loretta. And hope you got some out of us. And we'll talk to you guys next